हेलो नमस्कार एंड वेलकम टू टॉकिंग पॉइंट ब्लैंक। आज हम बात करेंगे पाकिस्तान पे और पाकिस्तान में एक डील हुई है $500 million की विद एन अमेरिकन कंपनी एंड अ पोर्चुगीज माइनिंग कंपनी विच इज वर्थ $500 million एज आई ऑलरेडी सेड। नाउ ये डील क्या है, what does it entail for Pakistan, and what this deal means in terms of US investments in Pakistan and the relationship between Pakistan and US. So that is what I want to talk about. So yesterday there has been a deal of $500 million between American mining company and the Pakistani government on setting up of critical minerals refinery in Pakistan. Now, we already know कि जो Carrick है, it already has a 50% controlling stake in Rekodik. मज़े की बात, इंटरेस्टिंग बात यह है कि अमेरिकन कंपनी का जो मैं पढ़ रहा था, देयर स्टेटमेंट वाज कि दे आर लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू माइन क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान एंड ऑयल एंड गैस. And Pakistanis have always been harping about Shahbaz Sharif in a very, latest statement about a month back had already said that Pakistan is sitting on trillions of dollars of critical minerals in Pakistan and oil reserves in Pakistan. And where are these oil reserves? They are spread across Karachi, in the Sindh. They are saying it's in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, oil and gas, and also in Balochistan where the critical minerals are. So what does this refinery deal mean? So I will go into a bit of a background. This $500 million deal was first offered to the Saudis last year. There were serious negotiations with the Saudis of taking controlling stake after Carrick in Rekodik for mining. Now, what does Rekodik have? Rekodik has tungsten, gold, and copper. Copper being the main component of that mine, which 45 to 55% जो है वो कॉपर माइन है, उससे ज़्यादा जो है वहाँ से कॉपर निकलता है. इस एरिया में दो माइंस हैं जो बहुत बड़ी हैं, एक रेकोडिक है, एक सैंडिक है. सैंडिक जो है वो चाइना के पास है. रेकोडिक का ये है कि अगर आप कैरिक का स्टेटमेंट चेक करेंगे तो अभी तक उन्होंने वहाँ पे जो है माइनिंग जो है वो कंप्लीट नहीं की है, बिकॉज दे वांटेड द इक्विपमेंट रिक्वायर्ड टू माइन कॉपर एंड गोल्ड फ्रॉम दैट माइन वाज स्टिल नॉट सेट अप till this year, and they were in a process of setting up that and started mining from that area. So that mining is still, it's the controlling stake is with Carrick, but the mining is still not happening. So setting up of this refinery of critical minerals makes very less sense to me. Why? Because one, there is no feasibility report or no study conducted in Pakistan which actually says where all are the critical minerals in Pakistan, which all mines have been identified by the Americans or the Western companies or the Saudi firms which want to go ahead and, acquire those mines for this kind of a refinery to actually process the kind of mining material required for its investment to justify that they're setting up a mining refinement. So, this refinement in itself is like, I'm yet to identify where the mine is. I'm yet to identify how to mine that. I'm yet to identify which areas I'm going to mine, but I'm going to set up a factory which is going to produce. So I really don't have मेरे पास रॉ मटेरियल तो है नहीं. रॉ मटेरियल मैंने अभी ना आइडेंटिफाई किया है, ना बनाया है, ना निकाला है, मगर फैक्ट्री मैंने लगा ली है क्योंकि मैं उसका सामान बनाना चाहता हूँ. दैट इज़ बेसिकली द क्रक्स ऑफ दिस इन्वेस्टमेंट. एंड व्हाई इज दिस क्रक्स ऑफ दिस इन्वेस्टमेंट सो इम्पॉर्टेंट इज बिकॉज द अमेरिकन्स आर डेस्परेट टू सेट अप अ फुटहोल्ड इन बलोचिस्तान, एंड दे नो दैट by 500, Pakistanis were asking for a $750 million from the Saudis. The Saudis were very, very clear that they will take about 25% stake into this mine, but they had a very clear condition that $500 million, which the Saudis were offering, they said that not even a single penny will get into Pakistan through Pakistani banks. The Saudis will route the money, the Saudis will manage the money, and the Saudis will make sure that none of this money is going through any of the Pakistani banks. And that is where the Pakistanis had a real problem, because unless and until it doesn't hit the Pakistani banks, how are the Pakistani military and the politicians going to make money? They have no option. They have no control on the money. So I think that is why the Americans have set up this refinery to give Pakistan a breather, because Saudis actually have backed out for now from this deal. Will this deal happen with Rekodik in future with Saudis? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe under American pressure, the Saudis agree to go ahead with that deal. But for now, the Americans have just infused a $500 million MOU. And mind you, this is just an MOU. This is not a money which is coming in Balochistan. But what this MOU entails basically is that the Americans are desperate to set up a foothold in Balochistan. And why that is important for them is because Americans realize that unless and until they don't make investments and they don't get their men on the ground in Balochistan, they will never be able to contain China in that region. China has become a huge headache for Pakistan and for the region and for Americans, especially in Balochistan. Why? Because we all know that they have taken over Gwadar Airport, they have taken over Gwadar Port, they have huge expansion plans in Gwadar. If you look at the Chinese policy papers have always been emphasizing that they need to convert Pakistan into literally a colony where China would be holding each and every controlling stake in each and every asset of Pakistan. So basically, Pakistan becomes subservient to China and becomes a vassal state completely of China, which then China can exploit for its own geopolitical purposes. So now the Americans have realized how dire the situation with the Chinese is. The Pakistanis are unable to pay Chinese any loan money. They have been asking for rollover after rollover every time, and that is what has been happening. So now the Americans are entering into Balochistan, and we all know that, when we talk about mining, if the Americans would have really been serious, they would have been looking at making deals in Afghanistan, because there are a lot of mines in Afghanistan which still, are, some of them are with the Chinese. The Chinese are mining there. But then that is where now the game is going to get played. From Balochistan, the Americans will slowly start making investments into Afghanistan as well. Will they make the investments now? I don't think so. It will take another couple of years for Americans to set up their foothold in Afghanistan. But before that, what are they going to ensure is that they're going to get into Balochistan and they're going to cut the Chinese influence in Balochistan. And the more Chinese influence is cut into Balochistan, the more Americans make sure that the Chinese influence in the region, especially in the Arabian Sea and towards Middle East, is curtailed. Of course, Iran is also a part of that deal, because don't forget that there's a lot of oil smuggling which happens from Iran. The Chinese buy a lot of oil from about 15% of the oil supplies come from Iran. Pakistan itself smuggles about 800 barrels a day of oil from Iran. So given the Middle East situation and the way Middle East is shaping up, the Americans realize how important it is for them to keep Pakistan under check and to keep Pakistan completely into their fold, and not to let Pakistan fall completely to China, because Pakistan is on the verge of tipping over to China in terms of economics. I'm talking about, not in terms of anything. The Chinese were seriously thinking of putting on boots in Balochistan, and before the Chinese come with boots in Balochistan, I think the Americans want to make sure that Balochistan stands divided on the issue of Chinese control. And the more control or the more foothold the Americans are able to gain in Balochistan, the more it's going to be difficult for the Chinese to, get a complete cement their foothold into Balochistan. So what Pakistan basically has done is Pakistan has gone ahead and actually, I would say, sold out one of its more assets. Now, Pakistan in itself is selling out assets after assets, national assets, to keep itself afloat. They've done the same with Gwadar. They're doing the same with Umrara Port. They have done the same with Karachi SEZs. They have done the same in Sindh SEZs. They have given Chinese controlling stakes, and Chinese are slowly taking over. Now, the oil part of Pakistan is nothing, and the Americans also know that is not possible, because there has been no feasible study which has ever been carried out to find out if there is any oil in Pakistan. It was first in 1976 when Bhutto went ahead and made the statement that Karachi port is full of oil, and from 76 till now, Pakistan has been trying to sell this kind of a churn to everybody virtually around the world. Every 3 years to every 5 years, Pakistan say they have discovered oil reserves. The reality is there are no oil reserves, and any oil reserve which is there, which the studies say is in the international waters between India and Pakistan, Pakistan doesn't have control on those oil reserves, so they don't belong to Pakistan. So that is the reason why. Pakistan has lied about it all the time, that Pakistan is the one which has oils. Two, nobody has taken Pakistani oil reserves seriously. And I think the way Americans are buying this theory is just to hoodwink the Pakistanis into goodwill gestures, so that Americans can get more and more favorable deal in Pakistan with the Pakistani government. How the Chinese are going to respond? Well, the Chinese are not going to like it, and they are going to do what they like to do, and that is going to be the economic pressure they're going to put on Pakistan in coming years when it comes to money and when it comes to loans and repayments. I think that is how they are going to squeeze Pakistan first into submission for their own strategic benefits, and to make sure that the Americans are kept at arm's length in Balochistan. But the game has just begun, and it is going to be very, very interesting to see how the Americans and the Chinese are going to clash in Pakistan, especially in Balochistan. I hope you liked this video, and if you liked it, kindly share it with your friends and your family. Help me grow this channel. You can become members, and you can contribute through super thanks and super chats. Also, if you have any questions regarding this, kindly leave it in the comment box. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And in general, if you have questions, I'll be very happy if you leave it in the comments, so that I can actually do a separate video where I would just take your questions and I would try to answer as many of them as I can. All I would request you is to go with a hashtag called Ask Talking Point Blank. You can do it on X, which is Twitter. You can ask me leave your questions there, or you can leave the questions on YouTube as well. Till next time, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.